Always examine your spark plugs. Make sure they're all a consistent color. They're not wet, they don't have oil, fuel, anything weird going on with them. The one on the far right is the brand new one I'm getting ready to put in. The other four are the ones that came out of the R6. And they do have a consistent, nice little burn. They look good as far as I can tell. I'm no expert on it, but hopefully this will come into focus. Everything's slow. But anyways, hopefully you can tell. They all look pretty good to me. And that's kind of what you're looking for when you do your own spark plugs. Alright, getting ready to put the ignition coils back in on the spark plugs. Before you put them in, you just want to check everything, make sure everything's good to go on them. Make sure there's no corrosion, no damage, anything that might cause you a problem, because you don't want to put these things back on and then have an issue afterwards. So it's always good to examine everything that you take off and put on in case of wear and tear or anything that you might have to address in the future, or maybe have you a stopping point and have to repair right then and there. But better safe than sorry. One other thing you want to do is make sure you plug everything back in together. I know you probably can't see in there, see all the plugs and harnesses I disconnected, but I took the AIS off, or smog pump or air pump, whatever you want to call it. So you want to make sure you put everything back the way it goes, clamps, plugs, anything that secures it and whatnot, because you don't want to have any issues with clearances, rubbing, your fans getting into the wiring, stuff like that, which could cause you a problem. So like I say, pay attention to how you take things apart and put them back together the same exact way, unless you see there's an issue where it was routed wrong to begin with, or in a place that could cause an issue. Then reroute it to the best of your abilities, and hopefully it'll come out all right. In order to gain access to the spark plugs, you got to get this little plastic doohickey off here. So you'll go and take this little rivet out, and then it's got this little tab in here that you can reach up from underneath, slide it out, and then just pull it towards you a little bit so it comes out of there. And then this little cover here has two little tabs up underneath here that if you just push up with your fingers, find them and just push up on them a little bit, it kind of pops it up, and then you can just kind of very carefully work this thing out, and that'll give you a little bit of room to get down up in there to the smog pump to get that out of the way so you can access the spark plugs. Okay, once you have your air box wiggled in there and it's in place, you can go ahead and take your 4mm Allen head or hex head and go down in there and tighten up all the bolts. I kind of run back and forth and just kind of give them a couple spans here and there. Don't tighten them all up at once. Get the seat real nice. And then once I get everything nice and hand tight, then I'll go in and make sure they're properly torqued. You know, kind of a back and forth type pattern. I don't know if there's an actual torque order for this stuff, but you know, it seems to work for me, and I never have any issues with it. And that's the same for removal. If you're going to go remove it, go ahead and just take all of them off, back them off slowly, wiggle the box around a little bit, and then once you're ready, just go ahead and kind of gently move it out so that you can access the spark plugs. Alright, since I got the air box you know, opened up, I got a chance to take the air filter out of it. And anytime I pretty much open up the air box, if I know I'm not going to do it for a while, like I'm doing the spark plugs or whatnot, I go ahead and check my air filter. And since I'm there and I got it out, instead of having to do the labor again later on to do the air filter, I go ahead and wash and clean and oil the K&N air filter while I'm there. Basically, it's real simple to service the air filter. Take a brush, knock off any of the, soft brush, knock off any of the bigger stuff on there, bugs, whatever. And then you take the K&N cleaner, which K&N girl didn't deliver to me like I had ordered this week. So I had to take a break and run out and buy this recharge kit from my local auto parts for like 13 bucks, which is probably more than 3 times what I normally pay for the cleaner and whatnot. But anyways, no hint to K&N girl. She'll hook me up later. But so then you just knock off the big stuff, spray it down with the cleaner, let it soak in for about 5 minutes, rinse it with warm water very carefully, not to no pressure on it. And then check it out, and if it's not clean enough, repeat the process as often as needed to get it clean. Then you just let it air dry, and then you take the oil, spray the oil on there, and get it nice and evenly coated, and then you reinstall the filter. And I'll show you what the filter looks like when it's clean here in a little bit. Alright guys, now that the filter is completely dry, I went ahead and put on a couple coats of the oil. I'm going to let that soak in for a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and install it back in the bike and fire it up and see how everything works. Filter's back in, and we're ready to put the lid of the air box in and tighten and torque down all the screws. Show you what that looks like in a second. Alright. Alrighty, got the airbox cover back on, getting ready to drop the tank and start reassembling the panels, although I do need to do a little cleaning before I reassemble the panels. There's some leftover Starbucks that I got to clean off this bike. Operator error there, but we won't get into that on this video. But I'll show you what it looks like when we start putting everything back together. Alrighty, so I'm snugging down the last bolt here on the side of the tank. Tightened up the one up here at the top, and the one on the other side's already done. So here's where we're at this point, and I'm going to go ahead and fire the bike up and just make sure the spark plugs, air filter, no fuel leaks, which I've already checked once before, but I'm going to fire it up and let it run for a little bit and make sure nothing's going on before I assemble all the panels. Okie doke, got everything all cleaned up, fuel tank secure. Now I'm going to put these little side panels on. Now these things get a little bit of a bad rep as being cheesy and cheap and whatnot. I've never had a problem with either this one or the one on the R1 over there, which are very similar in design. You just have to be careful when you install it. You've got these little tabs here where everything clicks on. And then you've got the matching tabs over here. And if you don't line them up right, you could cause it to break. And then the most important thing is, with everything lined up right, make sure that little screw that goes into that part of the tank, it's in there secure, nice and snug. Little blue Loctite wouldn't hurt if you're not doing a whole lot of maintenance on your bike and taking them off and on all the time and inspecting them. But otherwise, these panels are fairly easy to install, fairly easy to remove. All it is if it's on, oops, got the wrong side. Blooper! If it's on, you take that little screw off there in the back and then just slide it forward and it comes right out. And then the reverse for installation, just make sure everything lines up, slide it back, make sure it's in the right spot, secure your bolt right there, and you're good to go. Very simple. And then the final step is to install the seat. It's got the little tab right there. It goes in that little slot. And you got the two holes there, the nut certs for the little screws that are right there. And it's very simple. Just slip the seat in to the slot. And then pull up on here and tighten up your screws. You're good to go. And then that's it. One final wipe down and the spark plugs and the air filter service is complete. I hope this helps you. I know it was kind of in reverse order, so a lot of these items that I'm doing individually, that's for removal as well as installing, just reverse. Hopefully I can edit it where it makes kind of sense. I didn't plan on making the video, but once I got started I figured you guys might be interested. So hope you enjoyed it. I think that's about it for now, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks. Take care. And once you got your screw installed, just go back and double check your work and make sure that, you know, it's nice and snug and it appears that every tab is where it belongs. And you should not have a problem. Very easy to install. It just takes a little patience and take your time. Don't be in a rush, or you could break the plastic tabs, and once they're broke, you're kind of screwed. Oh yeah, the other thing you can do, videotape or take pictures of stuff as you take it apart so you'll know where everything goes. Tip of the day. Another quick little tip for you. If you're assembling something that has a bunch of the same size screws or bolts or whatever hardware you're using, and one gets damaged, if you look on the one on the right side, it's starting to get a little bit of wear on it. The one on the left looks okay. If you can't replace it then and there, and you're assembling something, and you know everything's easy to get to, then it doesn't matter. But if you have some tighter areas that are hard to get to, you may want to use the better conditioned bolt in the harder to reach areas, and then the stripped or damaged one, if you have to reuse it, in the easier to get to areas, so that you can replace them, you know, later on. Or if you do that job repetitively, on the next go around, it's a little bit easier to get to it and or replace it. Just another quick little tip that hopefully will help you out.